Mantashe, the Minister of Mineral and Petroleum Resources of South Africa. We're also joined by the Deputy Director General of the Department of Mineral and Petroleum Resources, Mr. Deysel, who very aptly just convened what seemed like a town hall meeting on the outside here. Minister Mantashe is busy fighting off a coup. There's a lot to learn there, Minister, from Deysel about how to handle such a moment. Semulefu, who's the Managing Director for Wits Mining, is also here with us. He's a contractor to West Wits, the mining contractor to West Wits. I also want to welcome Mutlapili Mulifi, who is the co-founder of Wits Mining. I also want to recognize Mutlatsi Mtimunye, who's the head of investment banking division for ABSA, who is the lender to this undertaking. And Makhoshi Likete could not be here, but I do want to recognize the IDC as well as an important partner to this undertaking. I want to recognize Her Excellency Ms. Tegan Brink, the High Commissioner of Australia to South Africa, as well as Lucanio Quinert, who's the Director of Lilita Resources, who's the BEE partner to West Wits. We'll be joined very shortly as well, who just happens to be running late, but I do want to recognize him and acknowledge him, Mzila Mthenjane, who's the CEO of the Minerals Council of South Africa. And it is an absolute honor and privilege to have you all here. But another important person to this program who I want to welcome onto the platform is a person who is one of the visionaries and pioneers for why we're all able to be here and for why this operation is here today, and that's Mr. Michael Quinert, who's the chairman of West Wits Mining, and quite importantly played a crucial role in the revival of the West Wits Mining. And that vision was led by a small group of pioneers, all under the stewardship of Michael Quinert. Can we welcome Michael onto the platform?
The Honourable Mr. Gwede Mantashe, Minister of Mineral and Petroleum Resources, welcome and thank you so much for being here today. Her Excellency Ms. Tegan Brink, Australian High Commissioner to South Africa, welcome and thank you for being here. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, 10 years, a decade. This is how long we've all worked to get to this opening ceremony day. In Australia, a mine can typically take 10 to 15 years to establish, so by that measure, we've done well. But in this case, we had COVID intervene, which must have added at least 2 years. So I think we can say we've beaten the benchmark. For that, thanks must go to the government officials of the Department of Mineral and Petroleum Resources. And we're very pleased to have the Minister here today at the official opening. Also thanks to the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment, the Department of Water and Sanitation, and to the City of Johannesburg for all your efforts to get us here today in good time. Whilst we all have very different roles, we've all worked together like partners to deliver a world-class project which equals and even exceeds international standards of environmental sustainability. You're all part of this success because you provided the regulatory certainty we needed to commit to and to complete the process. To the local communities and people, in many ways this project is as much about you as it is about the company. This is because a modern responsible mining company, which we aspire to be, cannot succeed without the social licence and meaningful participation of the community in which it operates. So to the people of Soweto and Rudaport and the area generally, and to the Ward Council representatives here today, thank you for your support and acceptance into your community. We will now work hard to vindicate your trust in us as we forge forward to deliver the jobs and opportunities this mine will provide. To the South African Police Service, you have played a critical and sometimes unsung role in working with us and other businesses in this area to progressively and steadily improve law and order. Your thoughtful guidance and, when necessary, measured action have delivered a level of stability in which business and the community can now thrive. This has made it possible for us and our financial backers to invest in an area that was previously degraded and at sometimes even chaotic. Of course, none of this could happen without the vision, dedication and hard work of a long line of West Wits people and the consultants we've used over the last decade and more. I cannot name them all, but I must name some. We thank the legendary Australian mining entrepreneur Brian Frost, who with locals Neil Pretorius and Dick Vandervolt, who's here today, plotted the birth of West Wits over 15 years ago as a company to restart the Wits goldfield. I was only the lawyer, not the founder, but they entrusted me to take their vision forward as what became West Wits Mining. We learned early on that using local South African knowledge and skill, as well as passion, was our best bet. The late Jochen Schwarzer, founder and inspirational leader of Shango Solutions, and most of the Shango team are here, his good humour, heartfelt support and encouragement were critical in getting us off the ground. Shango was literally a treasure trove of historical data and human knowledge about the Wits, and this area in particular. I especially missed the end of week drinks with Jochen and his team on the back veranda at Northcliffe. Vail, my friend Jochen. Shango also brought us the cheerful enthusiasm of Mani Schwab, which carried us almost as far as his encyclopedic knowledge of the ore body, which he had been the last person to mine before we've come back. Marnie deserves, and I will personally ensure he gets the first sip of the champagne bottle we open to celebrate our first gold pour. And to all the Shango team, Stephanie, Leonie, Alex, Rob, Hendrik and the rest, we're ever grateful for your support. They're all here today, most of them are here. To the late Patrick Harford, an Australian by birth, but I've put him in the South African section because he must surely be an honorary South African. He spent so much time here. My friend, supporter and often late night dinner companion and debating opponent. We simply would not have got anywhere without him. He was passionate about the project and his enthusiasm kept us going when there were many doubts. Vail, Patrick, it's my biggest regret today that you're not here to see the results of your work. Thanks to the quiet professionalism and dedication of Jim Pooley of Barra and to the whole Barra team, especially Etienne as well. It is in no small way Jim's vision and patience, especially with invoice payments, that is reflected in the mine you see before you. Jim undertook diligently the methodical work necessary to validate the mine plan. But beyond the technical issues he was working on, Jim always maintained an underlying strong faith in the Qala Shallows success, which is often what you need in these sorts of projects. To Robin Mallet of OMI, whose outstanding work ethic and professionalism guided us in fulfilling our objectives of adhering to sound and ethical environmental and social responsibilities. Robin's dedication to professional standards. He was the financial interpreter who, with Simon's support, turned our aspirational and excited babbling into a coherent and compelling financial presentation. Also, who has truly been here for the long haul and took a risk on us in terms of both his money and his reputation when others would not. So thank you, Malou. His warm manner and integrity fosters strong bonds with whoever he deals. His advice and counsel have proven to be a constant force for steering us to making the right decisions at critical junctures. Thank you again, Malou, for your support and the significant contribution you have made to getting us here today. To my long-term friend, confidant, comedian, lawyer, and for a long-time co-director, Hume Scholes, I must also give wholehearted thanks. This project and many of the people who are making it happen simply would not be here if not for a chance meeting I had with this pot stirrer at Indaba some 18 years ago. His style is as unorthodox as it is effective. No major decision on strategy or direction was made in this mine without intelligent and often prophetic input from Hume. No problem was too big or too daunting to solve. There are just too many times to mention where he has taken me aside to subtly suggest, Michael, there's an idea, a course of action or decision to be taken well before I'd even seen there was an issue or a problem. He was always and remains the person I first call when there's a calamity. I can truly say we would not be where we were today without Hume's involvement. As we stand here today on this iconic goldfield, we're proud to acknowledge Qala Shallows as a truly South African project. Yes, an Australian company provided the seed capital, but it is South African professionals, know-how and capital that is now powering us forward. Today we have only 2 Australians on the project, Simon over there and myself, we're the only 2. The rest, some 130 and rising, are all South Africans who are working to reopen a South African treasure, the Central Wits, which we believe has so much more to give your country and your people. Our mining contractor, Modi Mining, is South Africa and proudly led by Sam Malefi. Our bank lenders, IDC and ABSA, are local, and we especially thank the BISO from IDC and Umpol from ABSA for sharing our vision to support this new underground gold mine in South Africa. Our key suppliers, RAM, GST and HPE, all South African and all providing world-class equipment to run this mine, all made in South Africa, all within an hour of this mine. You, South Africa as a nation, have all the ingredients, the resources, the people, the skills and the suppliers of equipment to again be a mining juggernaut. The line that is the South African gold mining sector is stirring. And to our South African executive team, I give public thanks for all your hard work, dedication and persistence. You have stuck by the company and our vision despite the delays and the challenges. Martin Beverlander, our old school geologist who is literally champing at the bit to get this mine going in full swing. Lucinda Schultz, who has organised today's event and who worked tirelessly to lift our profile and get our message out. Tazama Kolati Suiza, our Community and Government Relations Director. Tazama arrived in February 2020 at the start of COVID. What a time to take a chance on a small mining company with delusions of grandeur. She has, with good humour, professionalism and above all, respect for all stakeholders, navigated and cemented the relationships we needed as a foundation for success. Tazama is the key person who underpins and validates our social licence to operate in our community. Great work, Tazama. And to our CEO, Rudi Deysel, my heartfelt thanks. Rudi joined us 5 years ago and has risen to become our respected CEO. He has played the major role in the design and now implementation of the mine plan. He is a dedicated professional, but also, as we would say in Australia, he's just a bloody good bloke. His loyalty to the company and his colleagues has engendered a level of respect I've not often seen. People like to work with and for Rudi. Recently elevated to Managing Director of our listed holding company in Australia, Rudi is now carrying the torch and the message of West Wits to the world. And Rudi, as a proud South African, is the right person to now lead this project and this company to sustain success for all our stakeholders here in the Central Round, the wider South Africa, and our shareholders around the world. Lastly, but never least, a sincere thanks to the spouses, husbands and wives and families of our West Wits team. Janine Deysel is here today, and her wonderful support to Rudi, and by extension to West Wits, has been outstanding and often to her own sacrifice. Also to my wife Caroline, who cannot be here today, I thank you for your steadfast faith and unwavering support for me in what must have seemed at times an endless crusade in a faraway land. All of us could not do what we do without the support from our families and loved ones, so thanks to every one of you. And to all of you, thank you for being here today on this special day. This opening is the start of a long-term project we can all celebrate. Thank you very much.
It is a privilege to stand here as we honour South Africa mining heritage and recognise the strength that still exists in this sector. The goldfields of Witwatersrand built Johannesburg and shaped much of our early economy. And now, for the first time in more than 15 years, South Africa is opening a new underground gold mine in this historic basin. For years, many believed the Central Rand had reached the end of its mining life. Qala Shallows shows that this, with rigorous geological work, clear planning and disciplined execution, new underground gold mines can still be developed in this district. It demonstrates that responsible investment and strong partnerships can deliver real growth in South African mining. It sends a clear signal that this remains a mining nation with world-class geology, skilled people, and long-term potential. Qala Shallows is the result of steady, disciplined work, and over several years it represents meaningful progress, not only for our company, but for a region that has been responsible for nearly a quarter of all gold ever mined. We are proud to bring new investment and responsible development to an area that holds such defining place in the global mining history and still holds substantial potential for the future. Qala Shallows is technically robust, modern underground operation. It is being developed as a shallow mine with mining planned from level 2 to a maximum depth of around 850 meters. At steady state, the mine will produce 70,000 ounces of gold per year, and with a life of roughly 17 years and a total of about 1 million ounces expected over that period. The economic fundamentals are strong. Our definitive feasibility study indicates free cash flow of around 20 billion rand over the life of mine, an internal rate of return of more than 80%, and a payback period of less than 1 year at current gold prices. Our all-in sustaining cost is under $1,300 per ounce, and supported by the shallow ore body and careful cost management, we will achieve this. Over the past several months, we have moved from planning into active development. Our mining and our EPCM teams were mobilized from July, and by mid-October, we delivered our first ore to surface. Development is advancing through multiple access points, and our main decline is establishing the permanent infrastructure needed for long-term production.
Started with an apology for being late. I was coming from an UMCU event. It was important that I honor that fully as best I can. It's actually quite exciting to be here in this part of the world for what I would call Operation Vula Umgodi, in direct contrast to Operation Vala Umgodi, Minister. And it was only a few months ago when we were together on stage in Australia at Africa Down Under with Wits that we were actually promoting investment into South Africa. And it's fantastic that we're here today to actually acknowledge and recognize and complement, I think, the realization of that investment. So, Honourable Minister, Minerals and Petroleum Resources, Mr. Gwede Mantashe, I thought I'd see you earlier with the UMCU. Excellency and Australian High Commissioner, my favorite Australian, Ms. Tegan at Brink. Chairman of the board, Mr. Michael Quinert, CEO, Rudi Deysel, the executive team, and I did see Tozama earlier. Tozama and I used to work together before at Royal Bafokeng. Ladies and gentlemen, and all protocol observed. It is indeed a profound honor to stand before you today at the official opening of the Wits Gold Mine, Qala Shallows. I had to practice that. This moment is not only a milestone for Wits Mining, but also for South Africa's mining industry, our economy, and the communities that will share in the opportunities created here. This is the first underground gold mine to be developed in South Africa, and according to our estimates, the last one was 15 years ago with Burnstone Gold, located near Balfour in Mpumalanga, which was opened in 2009. And so this is certainly a cause for celebration. Perhaps a brief word about the Minerals Council before I proceed, for those who may not know it. It's a lobbying and advocacy organization with a membership of about 70 members who are responsible for more than 90% of South Africa's mineral production by sales. Our membership spans both large multinationals with operations in South Africa, as well as junior mining and exploration companies aspiring to grow, as we're here to witness with Wits. Our mission is about lowering the cost of doing business in South Africa, and we do this in a number of ways through constructive engagement with various stakeholders, amongst which is the GMPR and various institutions of government. In addition, we are in a tripartite comprising government, our members, and labour, where we engage on improving safety and health of the mining sector. We also work closely with communities to earn and to secure our license to operate, as mentioned earlier by Rudi. In addition, we're a proud member of an organization called MIASA. This is the Mining Industry Association of Southern Africa, which represent 10 chambers of mines across the Southern African Development Community region. and our role there is really to strengthen sector coordination and regional alignment, a topic which is becoming increasingly important in this conversation on critical minerals. Gold is woven into the fabric of South Africa's life story. As I stand here, the Minerals Council celebrated 135 years. From the discovery of gold in the Witwatersrand in 1886, more than 100 years, so the legacy of mining in South Africa is certainly uncontested. And this transformed Johannesburg into the city of gold to today's modern operations. Mining has been central to our nation's development. The Minerals Council continues to play a pivotal role in ensuring that this legacy of mining, and particularly gold, remains a driver of growth, of innovation and shared prosperity for generations to come. The Wits Gold Mine continues this proud tradition, but with a new chapter, one defined by innovation, sustainability and inclusivity. This mine is not just about extracting gold, it is about creating value in a way that is responsible, ensuring that the benefits extend far beyond the mine gates. Mining contributes about 6% of South Africa's GDP in nominal terms and employs approximately 470,000 people. With the opening of Wits, we strengthen that contribution. The mine will generate employment, stimulate local businesses, and contribute to government revenues that fund essential services for local communities and the country at large. Importantly, it will also attract investment confidence at a time when South Africa desperately needs it. The gold mining in South Africa is characterized, as we've seen, by declining resources and production. Since 1994, the gold sector contributed 43%, or rather in 1994, to total mining production. However, today this stands at somewhere or in the order of 10.5%, a significant decline. But we're not despairing. Certainly with the opening of Wits Gold, and I'm aware that there are one or two other gold mining companies that are going to be starting new operations. In total, the South African gold mining industry employs 90,000 people, and when you use the multiply effect of 1 to 10 in terms of employment generation, or 1 to 5 in terms of support of livelihoods, it's many thousands more that the mining industry supports.
Shallows Mine, which, as Mzila said, is the first new underground gold mine in South Africa in 15 years. And Minister Mantashe, I should say, he tried to school me on how to, the proper isiXhosa pronunciation of Qala, and I have failed terribly, so I do apologise. But suffice it to say that I understand it means beginnings, or new beginnings, which is absolutely perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, the resources sector is central to the enduring ties between Australia and South Africa. It has been absolutely fundamental to the economic development of both our countries and integral to the biggest moments that have shaped us as nations. We share, of course, a really significant gold mining history marked by parallel gold rushes in the 19th century, the involvement of Australian prospectors in the gold rush here, and of course, modern business day links. Now, I understand that the pivotal discovery of the main reef in the Witwatersrand Basin in 1886 is widely credited to an Australian called George Harrison, not to be confused with the Beetle. But in the 140 years since then, as we have heard, pretty much a quarter of the world's gold production is attributable to this basin. Now, the connection between Australia and South Africa continues today through really vibrant corporate activity. Major South African mining companies, Harmony Gold, Goldfields, have recently made really significant investments in Australia and acquisitions in the Australian gold and copper sectors. And today's opening of Qala Shallows Mine reminds us that South Africa remains an important jurisdiction for Australian gold miners. In fact, just last year, gold overtook goods vehicles as the principal export from South Africa to Australia and actually tipped the goods trade balance in your favour. I'm particularly pleased to see new mining investment in South Africa, supported by Australian capital raising. Australian capital markets, as we just discussed in the break, in fact, are accustomed to supporting early stage mining projects, and Australian headquartered and ASX listed companies are very well known for their ability to operate in tough and remote areas, both in Australia and abroad. Australian firms also pursue high environmental, social and governance standards, high safety standards, and in fact Australia's Minister for Mining, the Honourable Madeleine King, often speaks about the need for the mining sector to develop and maintain a social licence to operate. Now, as we heard from Rudi and as we heard from Michael, West Wits reflects this principle. Qala Shallows will create eventually 1,000 jobs, and West Wits is committed to engaging local service suppliers and investing back into the local community here. So this includes a strong focus on local procurement, regular community engagement to ensure that the local community is aware of job opportunities and aware of procurement opportunities, working closely with local law enforcement, and we heard the reference to SAPS, to combat illegal mining and improve community safety. Investment in youth skills, internships, bursaries and learnerships in partnership with Modi Mining. And then also growing SMME participation, including new opportunities for food vendors and laundry providers. So these initiatives taken together will make an important economic contribution to the Central Rand in Johannesburg, and it makes me really optimistic about the significant role that Australia can continue to play in supporting South Africa's mining sector. And I very much look forward to hearing from Minister Mantashe shortly about developments in mining policy, developments in mining regulation that can further unlock this country's extraordinary mineral wealth. Now, the Australian government, meanwhile, is very pleased to support these close business connections, which underpin a broader bilateral relationship that Australia really values. So this is centred on close people-to-people ties, it's centred on a great sporting rivalry, and I should say that just last night, the Rugby World Cup draw for 2027, which Australia will host, was released. And I was quite relieved to see that Australia is in the other half of the draw to the Springbok.
I got the CEO of the Mineral Council will stand with me here, because together we have a responsibility to make mining perform. Sometimes he speaks as if he's on the opposite side. And I always wonder what opposite side is Mzila. He's with me here. If this thing is not operating, he's failing as much as I fail. So, thank you very much, Program Director, Mr. Dixon, Ngoska Kulu, for hosting us. The chairperson of Qala. Let me teach you the pronunciation. It's Q. Therefore, it's Qala. If it's C, it's Qala. If it's X, it's Qala. They are close to each other. So Q is Qa, beginning. If it's Qa, it is the side. Okay, let me leave it at that. Mr. Quinert, as the chairperson, it's good to have an Australian speaking in a South African mining enterprise. I will tell you why it is important, what we share, what is common between us and Australia. Rudi, Deysel, you are just one example of the caliber of mining expertise in South Africa. We used to have two schools of mining, Wits and Tegan. Tegan was a protest over Wits because Wits was producing English engineers, and Afrikaners had to protest and form Tegan to have an Afrikaner engineering school. And you'll notice that they've sunk shafts in wrong places in a number of areas. Get his hands so that we create new value. We can have those BE one day emerging as the main miner in another project. That's what I'm expecting. And that's why I'm very excited with coal mining. Coal mining is owned and managed by black South Africans, by and large, except Glencore. Only Glencore, which is number 3 in terms of production volumes. The rest of coal mining in South Africa is owned and managed by black South Africans. I want to see that in various sectors of the economy. So I don't want PE partners who are just collecting dividends. I want PE partners who take their hands, make a contribution, make a change, implement transformation. And transformation is standing on 3 legs. It is standing on ownership, it is standing on employment equity, giving black South Africans right to participate in the management, not in soft skills. I want them in hard skills. I want them to be executives in the hard skills of mining. And number 3 is procurement. Those who depend on procuring in the mine. If you get it right on those 3 legs, you will get transformation right everywhere. We are correcting a legacy of being deprived. You know, when I joined mining, I was very young. I had matric. I couldn't put my hand on a plastic certificate in South Africa because a plastic certificate was reserved for a scheduled person, which meant a white male. If you are not a white male, you would not be a miner, and a white male would stand at 1, would be a miner. Now, I suspect that they don't want us to have access into explosives because we use them in the revolution. So the law was just tactful in saying it's reserved for a scheduled person. They didn't want us to have access to explosives at the time because we'll blow up many things. But fine. But we don't talk that way. We talk as we deprive access to plastic certificate when we qualified to have a plastic certificate. That's all we are emphasizing. So that is how it works. So we're number 13 in the world, we're number 4 in Africa. In diamond mining, that is gold mining. In diamond mining, we're fallen out of the top 5, we're now number 6 in diamond production. That tells you the nature of the sector we're in. The key factor of opening this mine, it comes at a time when the price of gold is good. So I was talking to the CEO and they said to him, Gwede, you must get into production stage quicker when the price is still good. It's likely to improve for another few years to about $6,000 an ounce. Chase that space. Otherwise, cyclical behavior of prices of commodities may deprive you of that benefit. So I was saying to the CEO, and he said, no, I will produce by March. I said, it looks a little bit very far, but it's okay. I have no control over that. But the reality of the matter is that in the pursuit of production, because of the price, let's observe good health and safety programs. Work with us in achieving zero harm in mining, because zero harm is quite important. We had record 42 fatalities in the industry last year. 42 fatalities in the industry last year. And we're heading for breaking that record this year. And Mzila, the Chief Inspector of Mines, doesn't want to talk about that now. There's 1 month to go. He says, if you say anything, you create a precedent that it will happen. Gold mining and platinum do continue to kill people in numbers. For example, up to now, there's not a fatality in coal mining for the whole of the year. Not one fatality there. So those is for the sectors. So we look into the sectors. If we are at 42, as an old miner, I get my mind into the keynote disaster, which killed 177 workers in 10 minutes. And I look back to the Coalbrook disaster, which killed 435 people in one accident. So If you come from those disasters and you're at 42 now, you know that you're making progress. People who are not in the mining industry don't appreciate the progress we're making. So I'm appealing to us, please contribute to zero harm. And that is quite important for us to work together. Social and labor plans, social investment in the communities you're working in, do make your contribution in social and labor plans. I have emphasized to the mining companies, please don't get yourself into small projects to appease the community. If you don't have enough resources, pool your resources together as different mining companies and make an impact in a community. Build a school, build a clinic, buy vehicles for safety to fight crime. It's more befitting to you with Zamazamas next door to you. Build vehicles to give them to the police, they fight crime. Fence fields, produce food for people to eat. If you do that, that is a real social and labor plan. If you build small community hall and another field to play, it's symbolic. It doesn't make sense. It makes no difference. So we must clean this industry of this title of it being dirty, difficult, diseased, dangerous and deadly. The 5 Ds that mark the mining industry. We must change that image. That is our responsibility as the mining industry to do it on our behalf, change our reputation. Let me conclude by commending you for opening this mine. I can tell you that in the Witwatersrand, there is a lot of gold that has been left behind. Our company, Bilateral Gold, discovered a lot of gold between Bilateral and Western Cape levels that was left behind untouched. It is the mid-tier companies that is actually going to deal with that. It's more than artisanal mining, you see. You always talk about artisanal mining fighting illegal mining. It is the mid-tier mining companies that are going to make a bigger impact than artisanal miners. Artisanal miners must complement your work and work with you to eradicate any thought of illegal mining. This is not a sunset industry, it's a sunrise industry. We must make it a sunrise industry. Diversify. Gold is doing well now, getting to other sectors of the mining industry so that you cushion yourself from risk and bumps of the economy. Thank you very much for contributing to the production of the mining industry. It's quite an important sector. I love it. I grew up in it and it's just what I know. It's the only thing I know in my life. Thank you very much.
And can we please have Tozama on stage as well? Tozama is the group executive who's the head of corporate affairs here at Qala Shallows Mine. Please do join us.
My chairman, Mr. Chairman, High Commissioner, all the guests, and Mzila, Tabiso. Sorry to name you guys one by one. Rudi, yes, and who else? Andre, Brink, guys, thank you. Tawanda, Yelita, thank you guys. But also I would like to say we would not have done this and we would not have made this without you. It is not one person who can claim glory and say this is I've done. This was a collaborated effort, but most of all this was God's grace. We couldn't have done it on our own. There were lots of sweat, tears, blood that we have shedded when we tried to open this mine. And as a result of that, I'm saying thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you for the good fights. Councillor Tabani, thank you for the coaching. Thank you, everyone who's here. The name, the list, I saw it, and everyone who's here is not here by mistake. everyone who's here has made a significant contribution for us to be sitting here. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Isaac. Thank you for being my brothers in the field. When there are zamazamas, thank you very much. Thank you to Babu Dube. Thank you, Put Godfrey. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to my colleagues. And apologize to my colleagues again for the tantrums that sometimes I throw, but I'm here to say thank you. Thank you very much, Sam, Sisi, and Sisi. Mama Miranda siyabulela kakhulu. Nawe umqathi siyabulela kakhulu. Nonqini thuna ngoba nithe nasizimasa namhlanje. Nawe Sisi ndiyabulela kakhulu. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And of course, this is not the end of the celebration of what will be a lifelong project here on the West Wits area. My name is Oliver Dixon, like I said, and I really appreciate you all being here. It's been a pleasure speaking to you all. We've got refreshments going on the outside. There are and is media in the room, so some of you will be door stopped by them. Please do smile. It's a beautiful day. Thank you very much, everybody. Travel home safely.